Hi, you're listening to Meeple, uniting players from around the world. As always, I'm PJ.
And I'm Gareth.
Good morning, sir. And today is a special episode. We're going to go ghostly games for goblins and ghouls.
Ooh.
Yes, it is our Halloween special. Woo!
So tell me, when did you decorate your house for Halloween?
October 1st.
When did I decorate mine?
You haven't
yet, but I will do.
So I showed you some pictures. We do a Ghostbusters theme. And then
I love Ghostbusters.
my wife and I dress up as Ghostbusters on Halloween, and we
put a
fire pit in the driveway. Oh yeah, you got it. And we hand out candy, and it's a good time. But we decorate on the 1st of October, and we don't look back.
Yeah, I need to go and decorate my front door just for you and send you a photograph.
You do.
But this show is all about what games that we've played or like to enjoy when Halloween is here.
And as a ghostly gamer, I've been playing Halloween games all month. So,
yeah, I haven't started yet. But maybe I should go first about what I'm thinking about playing.
Yeah, really? You haven't played not a single one yet?
Not spooky games, no. I'm not ready. I'll peak too early and that'll be it.
Stamina, my friend.
Right, that's stamina, yeah. So,
yeah, go ahead. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, the game that always comes out for us is Mansions of Madness.
Oh, yes.
App-driven, just theme oozes like Slimer's slime. and I don't think we've done all the stories, but if you haven't played, it's app-driven based on the Arkham Horror kind of Cthulhu theme, and you lay the board out with tiles, and the story evolves. And as characters, you need to survive the onslaught of the evil monsters, creatures, angry villagers, and complete the story. And I just find it every year that generally is a game that hits our table about this time.
It's always the angry villagers, isn't it?
Yeah, with their pitchforks, and then they burn their house down, and then it's all over, just like Halloween.
Yeah, but you got to carry it on.
Yeah,
that's a really great choice too. I personally have not had an opportunity to play it, but
I guess you played. You have played My Father's Work, which
last week
app-driven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, angry villagers.
I know. I think we've talked about it in a previous show, but if anyone hasn't played that one, do you want to talk about that quickly?
Yeah, sure, we can. It's an app-driven game where you're going to Transylvania, although you name your town in the app, right? So immediately your story is different from ours, right? And you're like cousins who are inheriting the estate of their father or whatever, and you're going to inherit their work. And it's not just Frankenstein. It could be like, a time portal, immortality, lycanthrope, whatever. And you're basically building experiments through a worker placement mechanic. And it's pretty cool and very similar. The story evolves. There's 3 scenario boxes, and each scenario box has up to 8 different endings that you unlock. So far, all totaled, so 8 times 3, 24. My wife and I have unlocked 8 endings total, which means we've played the game 8 times.
And have you not repeated an ending?
We have not repeated an ending.
That's so important. I guess the difference between that and Mansions of Madness is Mansions of Madness is kind of you die or you win.
Is that right?
Generally, I mean, this one is because it's not just the ending; the whole pathway to that ending could be different as well. But I think that if people can get hold of it, because it's a Kickstarter convention only game, it's not at retail. But that's well worth adding for a Halloween games night.
I will say though, if anyone's interested in picking up a copy, again, my local game store has extra copies that he's selling.
Wow,
retail.
It's hard to find over here.
I know, and that is at Titan Games Springfield on Instagram. So y'all go check it out. He's got copies of my father's work. I think he's got 3 maybe left. He's trying to unload. So it's a great way to pick it up.
Well,
yep, that was last weekend. You know, our Halloween go-to pretty much every year is Horrified.
Yep.
You know, it's a classic game. It's cooperative, which we love. We love the cooperative games.
And do you play it 2-player? Exclusively 2-player?
We play it, well, usually my wife and I will play it 2-player once, and then we'll have the guys over, and there'll be a 5-player Horrified. There was a 5-player Horrified two weeks ago, where we played it twice, faced off against, and we used the classic monsters. I do not like the American monsters version. I just don't find the American monsters to be as cool. Like, I like the classics. I want to face Dracula and the Wolf Man and the Invisible Man. And so we play that, and we never win.
Never win. Have you won?
No.
You must have won. Really?
Maybe once. I can tell you 2 weeks ago, we played it twice so that we could cycle through all the monsters. And we did not win. It's always, I need one more turn.
Oh, it's always the way.
Yeah, it's always it. You know, because you have to defeat all 3 monsters, and you have to do them. I mean, you're doing it cooperatively, but also separately, right? And so we had managed to defeat 2 monsters. We had 1 left, and we were just, if we had one more turn, then we could do it. But alas,
I believe this Halloween is it your opportunity to win.
Maybe
you got this. I believe in you.
Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. If I win, I'll let you know. We'll post it on the rooftops. And by rooftops, I mean Instagram.
You need to come and tell our listeners. What other games do you play? So Horrified that comes out every year. Any other games that...
Oh, the one we love on Halloween night, right? Because we have a few friends over, and we like to play Mysterium. That's a good one.
That's a good choice. Yeah, that generally comes out for us as well.
Yeah. We play it, throughout the year as well, just because it's all around good. But it's thematic. I mean, yeah, Mysterium's just really good gaming right there. Except it tends to, every time we play Mysterium, I fear that my wife and I are going to get a divorce.
Why?
Because if I'm the ghost, I give everybody really great clues, and she does not like the clues that I give. So one time I let her be the ghost, and the same thing happened. You know, because you're at the mercy of the cards, right?
You really are.
The artwork on it, I can't make that happen. And but I have this friend here in town that when we play, he just hands me 1 card, and I know exactly what he's thinking, right? No matter what, if he's the ghost or I'm the ghost, I hand him 1 card. He knows. And so we're just like totally in sync. And I think she's mad that I'm in sync with someone other than her.
Happens. I think it does. I'm always the ghost. I think it's one of the things that people just like me to run. It's quite tough when you're on the spot and you've got limited cards. You're going like, how do I connect those cards to? So if people haven't played it, you're basically you've been murdered, and the investigators are trying to work out how you died, where you died. So you give picture clues, a bit like Dixit cards, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To solve it. So it's great fun, really good fun.
The challenging part, and I think the most important part, is whoever's playing the ghost, once the game starts, is not allowed to speak at all. You can only communicate through the cards. And, for a guy like me, that's not...
Yeah, I always end up I just tap the table is my communication method. I'm pretty good at not talking. People get really annoyed because I add in extra long delays. They think they've got it right, and the ghost was just a little bit sleepy.
Do you play with the little ravens, right?
Yeah,
like if the cards aren't very helpful, you can throw them away. And
like a mulligan, yeah.
And you put it up on the top of the game master screen, whatever. Do you make a crow's noise when you do that for effect?
No, but I do now.
Yeah.
I've been missing out all this time.
I was like, yeah, it's great.
How's it go? I'm gonna sound grab that and play it back later.
Oh boy, I'm not doing that again. So
I'm not going to ask again.
What else hits your table? in October near Halloween.
This is a game that probably most people haven't heard of, but it's called Dead and Breakfast. Heard of it?
I have to admit, I have never heard of it. No.
So it's by Braincrack Games, and I think it was a Kickstarter years ago. But basically, you're running a hotel where you need to invite guests in, and the guests have got fears, and I think it's fears, or is it likes? One of the two. It's basically a tile laying game. So you draw a tile. You're basically making a grid of, I think it's 5 by 5 tiles. You start with the front door, and then you basically attach tiles to that up and to the side. And it's basically windows of the hotel. And sometimes in a window there is a guest, and that guest might have a fear of balloons, might have a fear of spiders, might have a fear of witches or zombies. And on the room tiles are sometimes the scary things, and you basically need to line up either horizontally or vertically that guest with those fears. And the game ends when you've completed the 5 by 5 grid, and it's really nice tile laying game. Lots of options. There's a little bit of a you've got flowers that like ivy that climbs over the front of the hotel, and if you can match the colours of there's about 4 colours of flowers on the ivy, you get bonus points. It's kind of like a longest route kind of thing going around the bit. But if anyone get hold of a copy, it's worth checking out. I heard recently there might be an expansion coming.
Really?
So, and the designer is local to where I live as well. So Lewis and Emily. We might have to find out whether there is an expansion. I'm sure I read something. There's nothing on Board Game Geek. I'm checking now. But yeah, it's good. Anyone not check it out? Dead and Breakfast. That's my new game for people to go and check out.
Okay. And you know I have a weakness for tile placement. So next time you see them, drop my name and be like, hey, yeah. That
tile
sounds really cool.
So Dead and Breakfast. Nice little play on words on running a hotel.
Dead and Breakfast. I love it. I think it's great. And then I love Grand Austria Hotel, which is another hotel themed game. So tile placement, Halloween, hotels. Oh, man.
Maybe we could re-theme Grand Hotel Austria.
Austria I think Hotel. You could. Yeah. I think you could. You absolutely could.
What about you? What other games?
So this is a game that I recently sold it at Gen Con.
You sold it?
Sold it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But it's appropriate for what we're talking about in this Fury of Dracula.
Okay.
It's a 1v-all. So one player plays as Dracula, and then you have 4 hunters. So in a 2-player game, the second player plays all 4 hunters, right? So obviously up to 5 players. It's just... It's thematically... It's that the theme is there. It's a beautiful game. I don't take anything away from that. But in terms of the gameplay, it's kind of boring. You know, for Dracula, you're sitting there and you're just hoping they don't find you, and you're playing your cards. And
isn't it like Letters from Whitechapel? Isn't it? It's a bit like Scotland Yard.
It's got that hidden movement.
Yeah. So I find Letters from Whitechapel, which I think it's a reskin, but it says like 1 to 6 or 2 to 6, but we play that 2 players, and one person controls all the investigators. Well, I guess it's hunters in your world, right. But you get 3 chances to. In that version, you're obviously murdering as Jack the Ripper in that version,
right?
So it's 3 nights, but we love that game. But I've never tried Fury of Dracula. Is it the same? Does it sound similar?
It's like sort of similar. It's very much just kind of you're running around the map of Europe. The hunters are trying to narrow down your location.
Yeah. It sounds
you're just trying to avoid them. And then it's interesting. It's like it's when you're hidden, it's weighted towards the hunters because they have the advantage of numbers in finding your location. But then when they find you, it's typically one hunter finds Dracula alone. And then you engage in combat. Well, Dracula, it's weighted in his favor for combat. So
you have to fight. So
yeah, you do. Yeah, and so it's like okay, but then he always escapes. And
it does not sound fun. not.
And
as
then
fun
the
as
hunters find
letters.
him again. There's also this clock that's running in the game. It's kind of like a timer, and when it runs out, Dracula wins. And I think that's the part that's the problem, is that if you're playing as Dracula, if you just hold out, you win. And it's like, that's not,
because in letters
you want to win outright, not just I outlasted you, which is,
But, I mean, letters Whitechapel could also be a recommendation because it's based on a reasonably grim topic.
Yes.
And that one, you have to go and attack somebody. So you do mark where the murder took place. And obviously they start to work out where you move to. But I'll add that to list as a extra bonus game.
That's not bad, yeah.
I'd forgotten that one.
But Fury of Dracula just it rings Halloween, right? I mean, classic.
Yeah, it's Dracula's monsters.
Yeah. So, what else you got on your list?
So I know you're not a massive fan of social deduction, but there's two that always hit our table. One was good old One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which is a very fast fix social deduction game. I'm sure people have heard of it. Various roles, obviously trying to not get eaten or survive the werewolves. So that hits our table generally most years because it's a really quick 5, 10, 15, 20-minute game. But the one that I hope we'll be playing this year, I've just dipped my toe in running these games, has been Blood on the Clocktower. So I bought that game on the pre-order like 18 months ago, thinking that I hope I get a gaming group that works with it. And we now have. And maybe 3 weeks ago, I ran my first game, and it's brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it, apart from forgetting my friend's name, which we won't go into, because he was the washerwoman, and my brain was so in the theme that I couldn't remember anything. But it is an investment. It's not a cheap game. But if you want that immersive, thematic, social deduction game that plays out over an hour and a half, maybe even longer, I'd highly recommend it. But you do need somebody to take the role of the storyteller, which is that's the tough bit, because someone's got to be confident to run it. But I'm glad I had a go, and I'm looking forward to giving it another stab.
So you've built nice. I know. Nice. And you've built your confidence, so you're ready to.
Yeah,
and it's going to be perfect, right?
It was pretty good. It was okay. I think I need a cape. I need some props. That was what I was missing.
I think you need a cape. You need a cloak or a cape. You need a cane. And you also need to make sure that all of your players have name tags.
You do. Thank you for that. Yes. I'm not sure that's ever going to be let down. The fact I just stared at someone and went, but they all enjoyed it. There was only one minor rule gaff. But for the first time, it was well worth checking out. So that's Blood on the Clocktower. How about you?
Well, let me ask you this real quick. What do you say to, say me, but other players who maybe have trust issues about deceiving your friends? I mean, fundamentally, my problem, and I know others who feel similar, is this: we get excited because we have somehow deceived our friends. And it's like, I know it's just a game. I understand that, but maybe we've got trust issues, but everyone wants to play this. Like, I feel like I have to play because it's all over Instagram. Everyone's playing Blood on the Clocktower. I know that I would be unhappy because of the trust issues I have, but also everyone I love in the community is playing it. So that's a testament to the game. So what do you say to players who kind of feel that way?
So when we played this game, we talked about it was good for us because it was a safe group. So we know each other, and so there were a few people similar to you who don't really like social deduction games, but everyone embraced it. We set the boundaries at the beginning. We set whether there's any topics or things that we also felt that people didn't want to talk about, and I guess you're given a role. So it's no different to if you're playing a board game. Your role in that board game is to do something to win. In this scenario, you are either on the good team or on a bad team. You love co-ops, and you need to just live that role. I generally don't find I lie unless I'm on the evil side. It's more you're trying to listen and understand what is going on and pick out the patterns the patterns or the inconsistencies. I think you've just got to immerse yourself in that moment. It's not you who is telling lies; it is the washerwoman or the imp. I don't think I would trust you any less if after the game that was that. However, saying that, during lockdown, COVID, I got my team in my day job playing things like Werewolf online. So one like Werewolf. And after 18 months or so of being in lockdown and various times, we decided that nobody trusted each other anymore. For 18 months, we had all worked out the tells and the lies. And basically, I was always a werewolf. But that didn't change. That was just, we just knew how to... the tells were there. We played it so much. So that's that one.
Interesting.
So, I say you just got to give it a go. Just don't... You're not lying. You're just playing a game. Just like you're trying to...
Yeah.
You're trying to win. I mean, I'm sure you do some devious, sneaky moves when you're playing Terraforming Mars, thinking, I'm going to do this, and you plan a killer move.
I really don't. All I do is terraform Mars and win, much to the chagrin of my wife. But that's another story for another day.
That's our space epic. What other games?
Yeah.
I've thought of another one, which I haven't talked about before.
Really?
Sitting here. Yeah.
So we're talking about this social deduction, lying, whatever. So traitor mechanics is another mechanic that I'm not really keen on, which is more outright deception by an
love Nemesis
player. I do, but
not for that mechanic.
It's semi co-op, right? So
yeah,
it's not
unless you're my daughter when it's just about winning.
See, that's it. I don't play with your daughter, and so
no one does.
We don't. I'm thinking about Dead of Winter.
Okay, yeah, good choice.
So the last time I played that, a really good friend of mine, local here in Springfield, we played, and we were about to win, and he was the traitor the whole time. That hurt. And I don't like that feeling. And I love games, and I don't want, as much as I hate that feeling, I don't ever want to be in a position to force my friends, people that I love and respect, to have that feeling either, right? And maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's just...
I love that feeling. I love the feeling of that. I've played the whole game and somebody has managed to, what's the word?
I
basically be part of my little group and has deceived me at the end.
I physically felt wretched.
Did you?
Afterwards.
Oh, wow.
I did. And
betrayal.
And I don't want to celebrate that in real life. And if games are an escape, I don't want to escape. You know what I mean? Again, this is just me.
Yeah.
But yeah. And this is
Yeah.
why I've been apprehensive about Blood on the Clocktower. But at the same time, I see how many people play it. So it's popular, which is a testament to this game. So that's why I'm like internally torn. Like, I need to play it, but
I'd say get a group, play it, and then you'll probably end up not changing your opinion, and it'll be because you have got that deception piece.
Yep.
But yeah, we talked about Nemesis. Just that is another one. We've covered it before, but definitely worth a Halloween game. The game I've just remembered at the UK Games Expo this year, I had the absolute privilege to be invited to beta test. I don't know what you want to call it. A game by Hachette Games in the UK. Playtest before. Well, it's all app driven, so I was thinking it's mobile, but the game it's been released in the UK. You have to check whether it's a release elsewhere. It's called Amelia's Secret.
Ooh.
And basically, I think it's out in France already. The Hachette team of Flavians brought it over to the UK. But it's basically an escape room in a box. So in the box, you've got all these cards. You put the cards around your house and in different rooms, and then you take your mobile app. And it's all augmented reality. So you go into the room and you scan down. Then there's a trap door. You'll go into the next room and there's a clock or there's a wardrobe. you put your hand out, open the wardrobe, and there's a key. Pick up the key. You then got a key, and there's loads of puzzles. And there's hands and there's rings and things. And it was an amazing 25, 30-minute experience that is absolutely focused on. I think it's just been released here for Halloween. But if you ever want an escape room style game that is really good to set up with friends and family alike, there were 5 groups of us, of 2s and 3s, running around these 3 hotel rooms across corridors. But Amelia's Secret, check it out.
That sounds cool. This is very
it's really
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
I'm going to go back to co-op as I often do. I've been thinking about recently. We watched an old movie from the 80s called The Monster Squad, right? Which is
Never
like
heard of it.
Yeah,
Monster Squad. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of like 10 and 12-year-old kids. They have a tree house. They love monsters, and you've got Frankenstein, Wolfman, the Mummy. They show up in this small town, and they're the ones who have to fight the monsters, right? And so it's that cooperative atmosphere that just harkens back to my childhood. And so we talked about Horrified. Eldritch Horror is another good cooperative horror. I mean, Lovecraft lends himself to Halloween.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's perfect. I sold that game a long time ago because I had the other, which is Arkham
Horror.
Is that the original version of the same thing? Mm-hmm. Eldritch was
The beauty of Eldritch Horror is that it's more condensed, right?
Yeah,
so
it's simplified it.
Yeah, Arkham Horror would take like 6 hours, and then you could
6 boards, wouldn't it? I mean, there's huge amount of table space.
Eldritch, you had Eldritch and Dunwich, and
that's it. Yeah.
It would like a whole day. Well, on the Eldritch Horror, we can play a Halloween cooperative game, traveling around the world fighting monsters in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good example.
I don't have a copy yet, but I've played it on multiple occasions because we got friends who, but ever since the lockdown, we haven't been able to play it. I need to get a copy. So that's a good Halloween game in the cooperative atmosphere, which I love. I know that you're not the biggest co-op fan, but...
Well, if we're sticking with co-op, I'll throw my last one in, which is Zombicide. Or Zombicide, Black Plague, whichever one's. Co-op, zombies, running around, shooting, surviving. I mean, what other game would you want for Halloween? And it's co-op. See, I do like co-op.
Ah, look at you.
I know.
So you do like fun after all.
I do like fun, and I will decorate my house for Halloween on at least the front door just for you. And have you got any other final games?
I've got one more.
Go on then.
And it's and this one's for our friend Nick, Board Gamer Review UK, and that's Ticket to Ride. Ghost Train. Okay, it's geared towards children. It's basically Ticket to Ride, My First Journey, but it's got a Halloween skin over it. So the reason we picked it up is that instead of train cars, you have parade floats.
Okay,
that are of a Halloween theme, right?
Yeah.
Like I would love a Mardi Gras Ticket to Ride because I want parade floats. I love that. And so we picked it up, and it's so cool. So like, you go to the Haunted Swamp, and you have routes just like in Ticket to Ride from the Haunted Swamp to the Ghostly Mansion because it's all a little Halloween themed. It's just good fun. The colors of not the train cars, but the Halloween floats. You've got purple, white, black, and orange. So it's the 4 Halloween colors.
Yeah, it's nice.
There's moments in the game where when you do a thing, you yell trick or treat, and you get a card, which is worth a bonus point at the end of the game. It's so cute, great with the kids.
Just by saying trick or treat, you get a bonus card. I love it.
Well, but you have to do a thing, right? Like if you connect this town, this location to this other location, then you yell trick or treat. And you get a trick-or-treat card for a victory point. I mean, who doesn't love trick-or-treats and victory points at the end of the game? Come on.
How is it? It's a junior version, right? So it's not a long-playing game.
No, we can knock it out in 20 minutes. So yesterday we went to our boss's house, and he has a lot of kids, and we lent them our copy so that they could play it for Halloween. So hopefully they'll enjoy that. But it's just good fun.
Check
good,
out
wholesome fun. Ticket to
Ride. Ghost Train. Ghost Train.
Ghost Train.
So we've done it again. Another half-hour show without trying. I'm hoping everyone enjoyed our whiz through our games that we like to play at Halloween. And
this is episode 15.
15. And 16's already recorded. So we are ahead of the game.
Yeah. So look, guys, next week, which would be the day after Halloween when this episode 16 pops.
Correct.
Huge surprise for everyone. We will have our very first guest. It's going to be cool.
Woo! Very cool. If anybody wants to join the show, drop me and PJ a message or an email, and we will get you on. We got plenty of more topics to talk about.
Remember, we're trying to unite players from around the world. So help us do that, right?
Yeah, and we have great ways to connect. So we've got if you can just drag you into this call, and you can see us and talk to us as we record. If you want to be part of the audience, we can do that as well now. So if you want to watch the show, you can come and watch. Just drop us a message and we'll invite you in. Some cool tech we've got running. So with that, PJ, I wish you the rest of your morning and afternoon, evening, and I shall go and have the rest of my afternoon.
Yeah, I want that house decorated, and we want photos.
There'll be photos later for Halloween Day. At least a skeleton hanging from the door, and maybe I'll dress up in a white sheet.
Oh no, you have to dress up. You know what you should do is you should get that cloak and cane, take some pictures. That should be your costume, right?
With your clock on the blood on the clock tower, grimoire.
That would be your costume.
I'm done.
I'm the blood on the clock tower storyteller. Bam!
I'm going to stand out front of my house with my cloak, scaring the children. Right, mate.
You could run. You could run blood on the clock tower with all the kids
from my driveway. Right, on the drive. Right.
That is why we are friends, sir.
I shall be back with photographs, and we shall share them at Halloween with our Halloween special. Take care, mate. All right. Speak to you soon.
Okay. Take care and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.